Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to explain the basic anatomy of basal nuclei or basal ganglia. So we have learned that in the cerebral cortex, gray matter is located towards the outer aspect and white matter is inside. But there are large masses of gray matter situated in the cores of cerebral cortex, that is inner to the white matter. These masses of gray matter located inside the cerebral hemispheres are called as basal nuclei. These two pictures are showing you the horizontal section or transverse section of the cerebral hemispheres, and here you can see in the peripheral aspect or in the outer aspect of each cerebral cortex shows presence of gray matter, the red marked part, and within the gray matter you can see collection of white matters. The yellow marked parts are the white matter regions. So the basal nuclei or the basal ganglia are the collection of gray matter which are away from the cortical gray matter, that is in a deeper plane. What are the important functions of basal ganglia? Why basal ganglia are required? So these basal ganglia are required for organizing, planning and coordinating the voluntary movements of our body. And these basal ganglia shows an important role in controlling automatic associated movements like swinging of arm while walking. And the basal ganglia are responsible for the reflex muscular activities. Structurally, basal ganglia consist of various parts like corpus striatum, claustrum and amygdaloid body. Functionally, other than these, you have the substantia nigra and subthalamic masses of nuclei also. So structurally, the basal ganglia can be classified to corpus striatum first. The corpus striatum consists of caudate nucleus, lentiform nucleus. And the lentiform nucleus again divided into putamen and globus pallidus. Now let us learn the structural details of each parts of the basal ganglia. So first to learn is the corpus striatum. So before going to the details of the corpus striatum, you are supposed to be familiar on this horizontal section of the cerebral hemisphere picture. So here you can see the caudate nucleus, internal capsule and the thalamus. So these parts you have to be very clear, so that the relations of these structures with each other will be clearly understood. The corpus striatum consists of two parts, caudate nucleus and lentiform nucleus. The internal capsule divides the corpus striatum to caudate nucleus and lentiform nucleus. The lentiform nucleus again is divided into globus pallidus and putamen. The dark lateral part is called as putamen and the pale or the light medial part is called as globus pallidus. And the lentiform nucleus is separated from the claustrum by external capsule. Why these corpus striatum gray matter masses are called as corpus striatum? Anterior inferior ends of the lentiform nuclei are connected to the caudate nucleus by tiny bands of gray matter which pass across the internal capsule, and this gives a striated appearance, hence called as corpus striatum. Striae means lines. Next let us learn about the caudate nucleus. The caudate nucleus is a C-shaped or comma-shaped mass of gray matter, and the caudate nucleus surrounds the thalamus, and the caudate nucleus itself is surrounded by the lateral ventricle. The entire convexity of the caudate nucleus projects into the cavity of lateral ventricle. Now let us learn what are the parts of caudate nucleus. Caudate nucleus consists of a head, body and the tail. Head of the caudate nucleus is rounded anterior end, and the head gradually tapers behind to form the body and the tail. This head of the caudate nucleus contributes for the formation of floor and lateral wall of anterior wall of lateral ventricle. And this head is connected to the putamen by bands of gray matter and causes striated appearance. Next part is body. Body is the narrower part than that of head, and the body is elongated, and the body forms the floor and central part of lateral ventricle. The body of the caudate nucleus is separated from the thalamus by striae terminalis and thalamostriate vein. Next part is the tail. The tail of the caudate nucleus is narrow and slender than the body, and it runs downwards and forwards. The tail forms the roof of inferior horn of lateral ventricle. The tail is topographically connected to the amygdaloid body. Amygdaloid body is an oval mass of gray matter, that is almond-shaped gray matter, that is located in the temporal lobe, and this amygdaloid body is a part of our limbic system. Next we will learn the structure of lentiform nucleus. The lentiform nucleus group is called as lentiform nucleus because that is resembling like the shape of lens. Shaped like lens, there is a biconvex appearance. So this lentiform nucleus is located lateral to the internal capsule. There are three surfaces for the lentiform nucleus: lateral surface, medial surface, and inferior surface. The lateral surface is related to the external capsule and separated from claustrum. The medial surface is related to internal capsule, and the inferior surface is related to sublentiform part of internal capsule. Now let us learn what are the parts of lentiform nucleus. External medullary lamina is the thin white matter which divides the lentiform nucleus to putamen and globus pallidus. So in between putamen and globus pallidus there is a thin white matter called as external medullary lamina. The putamen is the large lateral part and it is appearing darker, and the putamen is made up of compactly packed cells. And the globus pallidus, pallidum means pale, so appearance wise that is pale, and that is smaller and medial part of lentiform nucleus. Another thin white matter called as internal medullary lamina divides the globus pallidus into two segments. One is inner segment, one is outer segment. So in between inner and outer segment of the globus pallidus there is a thin layer of white matter called as internal medullary lamina. Functionally, the corpus striatum helps for the proper voluntary movement of the body by controlling muscle tone, quality of movement, and posture. This corpus striatum is also controlling the automatic associated movements like swinging of arm during walking. After corpus striatum, next part of the basal ganglia is claustrum. Claustrum is a thin saucer-shaped mass of gray matter that is located between putamen and insular cortex. External capsule separates the claustrum and putamen, and the extreme capsule separates the claustrum and insular cortex. The connections and exact functions of this claustrum is not clearly understood. Next part of the basal ganglia is amygdaloid body. So amygdaloid body is an almond-shaped mass of gray matter which is connected to the tail of the caudate nucleus. And this amygdaloid body is located in the temporal lobe and functionally which is related to the limbic system. Other functional parts of the basal ganglia include substantia nigra and subthalamus. Now let us learn in detail about the substantia nigra. Substantia nigra is a large motor nucleus located in the midbrain. This consists of two parts, pars reticularis and pars compacta. The pigmented band of the gray matter provides dark color, and this is located between the tegmentum and crus cerebrae, and which contains the melanin and iron. The dorsal part is pars compacta and contains medium-sized cells, and the ventral part is pars reticularis and contains few cells and is lighter in appearance. The deeply pigmented nerve cells, that is the melanin containing neuronal cells that synthesize the dopamine, which passes to the corpus striatum through nigrostriatal fibers. Next is neuronal connections of the corpus striatum. So the corpus striatum have afferent connections and efferent connections. So the afferent connections are the corticostriate fibers, thalamostriate fibers, and nigrostriate fibers. The corticostriate fibers are from the ipsilateral cerebral cortex through the internal capsule and external capsule. And the thalamostriate fibers are from the centromedial and midline and intralaminar nuclei of the thalamus. Nigrostriate fibers are from the substantia nigra. These fibers carry dopamine from the substantia nigra and said to be with inhibitory effects on corpus striatum. And the efferent connections are striatopallidal fibers from globus pallidus mainly to the thalamus. And the striatonigral fibers connects the substantia nigra and convey GABA, that is gamma amino butyric acid, which inhibits the dopaminergic neurons of the substantia nigra. And the ansa lenticularis that arises from the globus pallidus and joins with the dentato-rubro-thalamic fibers. These fibers terminates in the thalamus. Next, let us learn some clinical anatomy related to the basal ganglia like Parkinson's disease, chorea, hemibalism, and athistosis. The first condition to discuss is Parkinson's disease. This is also called as shaking palsy because there is a pill rolling tremor is the characteristic feature. And this Parkinson's disease happens due to degenerative changes in the globus pallidus and also in the substantia nigra of the midbrain. Normally, the dopamine secreted by the neurons of substantia nigra is released in the striatum and is inhibitory to the neurons of the striatum. The diminished dopamine level in the striatum results in excitatory actions of the striatal neurons. Thus, it will not be able to suppress the involuntary movement during actions. This is characterized with the rigidity and also the tremor, as mentioned, pill rolling tremor when the subject is at rest also. The rigidity is due to the increased muscle tone and the slowness of action also is noticed. Next is chorea. It is characterized by brisk, jerky and purposeless movement of the distal part of the extremities. There are two types of chorea, Sydenham's chorea and Huntington's chorea. Sydenham's chorea usually occur in children and may be associated with the rheumatic fever. In this condition, recovery will be possible. The antibody produced by the antigen of streptococcal bacteria that combines with the proteins of neurons of striatum. And that's why the involuntary movements are relatively less rapid. Huntington's chorea occurs in adults and recovery may not be possible. And here, relatively more rapid and involuntary movements are happening. This occurred due to degeneration of GABA secreting neurons of the striatum. Hemibalism can happen due to degenerative changes happening in the subthalamic neurons, and this is usually characterized by the involuntary throwing motions of the limbs of one side. If both sides happens, that is called as balism. Next is athistosis. In athistosis, this is characterized by the slow, worm-like writhing or twisting movements of the limbs, and this can happen due to lesion in the putamen. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe and press the bell icon to get new videos on clinical anatomy.